A few days ago, I posted what I thought the best way to break into Hollywood was. And then many of you were like, well, I don't want to move to Hollywood, or I'm unable to move to Hollywood. Is there any hope for me? And the answer is yes, you can still do it. You're just making it a lot more difficult, because now you're saying, I'm not willing to go to Hollywood, and I want Hollywood to come to me. All right, well, to do that, you have to bring a lot more to the table. And by that, I mean, you can't just have like a script and say, hey, I'm willing to make a lot of money, right? That's not bringing anything to the table. One way to do this, and this is going to be like a 5 or 6 part series, so if you miss anything, go to my Instagram page and you can see the other ones there. One way to do it is intellectual property, IP, which means something that you own the rights to, and it has value to Hollywood. So it's not just your script, even though you own the rights to that. It needs to have, like, one way is have a built-in marketing engine, which means it's already kind of on the verge of being famous. Let me give you an example. A few years ago, my partner and I were approached by a studio, and one of their development executives called us. Now, a development executive, their job is to scour the world for projects that they think are easy to sell, that, you know, not just are good, but are easy to sell because they want to make money. So this exec called us. She found a video on YouTube, a channel by this young woman. She was in her mid-20s, and it was a scripted content, scripted, you know, mini stories, mini episodes, and it was shot well. It looked pretty good. Some of them were great. Some of them were fantastic and had like 1 million views, or very compelling, and some of them were not so good and didn't have a lot of views. So it was very uneven. And she asked if he wanted to turn it into a TV show. So we met with the star of this and her partner, and we told them the steps that we would need to take in order to change her vision to make it more sellable, to make a TV show out of it, because it wasn't a TV show and it was very uneven. And they liked our ideas and they were willing to do it. So we called the producer, hey, let's take this on board. But we were on the fence, to be honest. But we told the producer we would try. A few weeks later, I called the producer. I hadn't gotten her contract, and I was like, hey, what's going on with this? And the producer said, well, we backed out because they were becoming too difficult. They wanted too much creative control. They were asking for too many things. And my partner and I were like, okay, that's fine. We were on the fence to begin with. But I think it's an interesting story. These people were so close to breaking in, but they're demanding too much. They got a little too full of themselves, and they blew up the deal. And you have to understand, when you're first starting out, you don't hold many cards. You really, you don't get to call the shots. And a lot of you are like, well, I don't want to compromise my vision. All right, well, then you get to stay with your vision for the rest of your life, and no one else is going to help you. So that's just something to consider. But that's one way to break into Hollywood without moving to Hollywood. Hollywood came to them, and they were so close to making it, but they kind of blew it up on themselves. What are you going to do? Anyway, like I said, I have other parts to the series. If you miss one, you can follow me on Instagram, catch the rest, at Jamin Writer.